Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to make these beautiful thin red line and thin blue line cornhole boards. This video is going to focus mainly on building the boards, and we'll even get some paint on the boards before we head into part 2. Hope you enjoy. Here's a list of the items you will need to complete your cornhole boards. Alright, now that we have all of our wood cut, these are the 4-foot long sides of the frame. These are the 21-inch tops and bottoms of the frame. And these are the legs. Now, these legs are going to fold in. And I have a little template that I use that I can round over the tops to make it easier for them to fold in. And this wood is for our custom cornhole stands. Both sets are getting one. These are the sides, these are the cross braces, and these are the legs. Up next, I'm going to show you how we put the frame together. As you can see, I'm pre-screwing the screws in. It makes it a lot easier to put together. And I also use the first screw when I'm screwing them in. I put the first screw in about 1/2 to 3/4 way to help hold the board. I finish screwing the second screw in, then I go back to the first. I recess both screws to about 1/4 inch roughly deep. Alright, once we get all the screws pre-screwed in, for the assembly, I always want to make sure when I'm putting the frame together that I have the nicest part of the boards facing outward. This is going to be your appearance of your cornhole boards. You want to make sure that they're really nice, free of defects as much as you can. Sometimes it's hard to find lumber that's straight, let alone doesn't have any defects in them. Try to get ones that are easily sandable. And then the way I do it, most people put them on the board, like on the flat surface, and use clamps. I stand mine up. It's just me. It's a small shop. There's not much room for anybody else in there, and it just makes it easier for me. I can stand them up, glue them, put them together. If they're not completely flat, don't worry about it. You can adjust it with your legs. But it's just an easier way for me to do it. Now, whenever you're assembling this, if the boards don't line up like they should, don't worry about it. You can always bring it back over, bring it back into square. Like I said, it's very hard to find straight lumber, let alone any that are free of defects. So if you find yourself in that situation and it's not lining up like it should, you can try to flip the board around. Sometimes that does work, sometimes it doesn't. But just don't worry about not being able to bring it back into square. You should be able to. Now that we have our frames done, we're going to attach the top. And what I like to do before I attach the top is I like to do a dry fit. No glue or anything. You just line up your board, feel all around the board, make sure it's the way you want it, make sure it fits nice. If it does, like this one does, flip it up, get our wood glue again, it's that type 1-3, and just put a bead around the outside. Like so. I use a brad nailer just to help hold the board while the glue sets. It helps hold the board down also. It helps keep the board in place, but check all the edges. Make sure it's where you want it to be. What I do is I start in the corner. Work my way across. And work my way up. Once we're done with that, we're going to use this hole saw to cut the hole in the cornhole board. I look over, I see which side I want the hole to be. I'll put it up on this end here. So you want to measure 12 across and 9 down. You got to be careful with this hole saw. Even though this material isn't that thick, it will grab. But there is a center screw, or center drill bit I should say, that makes it nice. All you have to do is put that center drill bit on the mark you made. I give it a few turns to get that center drill bit through. And whenever you do this, you want to keep moving it around. You don't want to stay in one spot. And get it up to speed before you do it. Go through nice and slow. See the piece you have here. Just grab a screwdriver. Pop it out. And that board is done for now. Pick it up, take it off. Take our other piece. So once again do a dry fit. Bead of glue. Drop it somewhere in place. Then we can move it. We don't have glue in the back of the board. We don't need it where we don't need it. Glue stays right where we need it. And right back to brad nailing. Always be careful using this. Just to make sure that they are smooth and ready for paint. taking off any of the markings that we got from the store when we bought them. Okay, now we're going to tape off everything that is not going to be gray. That includes the black stripes and the red or blue stripe we're going to add to it afterward. Then once we get this done, get the gray painted on, pull that tape, then we will focus on taping off for the black area and putting our stars on also. Okay, now that we got our gray painted, we are going to allow it to dry, about 2 hours roughly, and then we will pull the tape up and see how our lines look. Alright, now that we're back, as you can see, got the gray done, peeled all the tape off. Now I'm getting ready to tape for the black, and then I'm going to add my stars. I'm putting vinyl stars on so I can paint over them and then pull them up with a razor blade when I'm done. Never done that before. I have seen it done on YouTube. Different people have done it, but I have never done it yet, so we'll see how that goes. Make sure you have a little bit of gray sticking out, only because you don't want to have to go over this again with black or anything. You're not going to do it. You don't really want to do many touch-ups, so make sure you have a little bit of gray showing through, so you know you're going to cover the black, and it will butt right up to the gray, or whatever color you're using. In this case, it's gray and black. Now we're automatically not going to get 50 stars on this board. The hole for the corn, where the cornhole dies go, is going to make sure of that. But we can get as many on here as we can get to make it look as accurate. Just gives it a really nice look. There are my stars. You can see they are much smaller than what their grouping is, much smaller than what I need. So we're going to have to measure and mark each star with a pencil, just to ensure we don't mess up the gray. Just a light mark from the center of the star. So we're going to need a tape measure, Then we're going to need pencil. This is 19 over, and it is 12 3/4 up and down. Just like I do in my American flags, we're going to take a star, we're going to try. Okay. Take a star, we're going to put it in the corner. Make sure it's straight up and down. And then take a star. Stars are hard to get off. Try to go back to our trusty razor blade. Peel another one off, we're going to put it in the other corner. All the while making sure we stay the same width away from the wall, top and bottom. And make sure it's straight. Sure it's straight across. I'm fairly confident this is going to work. I've never done this, like I said, but they are sticking really well. They are vinyl stars, so they should stick to this very well, but you never know till you try it. They did not want to come off this paper. Ooh, I'll bite that one. We're just eyeballing this up. That looks good to me. So you put it down. Next star up. Now, if you watched my American flag video, the first video ever made for YouTube, or on YouTube, I try to explain how I did it. It was a little bit hard. I was just starting out. I didn't have a very good camera system. But I will explain more in depth here how I do this. Now, on a normal flag, you have 6 stars going across the top. There is 5 rows of 6 stars. Okay, and then there are 4 rows of 5. So 5 times 6 is 30, and the 4 rows of 5 is 20. That's how you get your 50 stars. Now, how I figure this out is I go basically from the center of this star to the center of this star. In this case, it's roughly, actually, it's right at 11 inches. Now, we got to put 3 more stars in between. So I'm taking half of one, half of the other. Half of 11 is 5.5. So I'm just going to put a little mark right there. Let me try. That's where my star is going to go. Let's get that star straight. We're set, and then we need to worry about the other 2 that go on that side. a long process. This is what I'm going to have to keep doing. This one's got a little bit off center here. Just bring it back. Let's do this. We'll do it this way, just to make sure we're doing it straight across and where we need it to be. Okay, we got our same gappage, top and bottom. This is the center. Let's make sure, see, I'll do it see what I did. We were right at 5.5. Now, again, this is how I do it. Other people may do it differently. This is just how I do it. Now, half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. Another mark there. And again, 5.5 is 2 3/4. There we go. That one's in place. And we can move on to another star. So we're going to do that one there. I accidentally cut. Okay, this is going to conclude part 1. I hope you found this video informative, interesting. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And then we will pick up part 2 by finishing these cornhole boards.